Good afternoon, darlings. How are you doing? I hope everybody's okay. So things are getting very, very exciting. We've had weird weather and apparently lots of you all over the world are having the same kind of weather. It's kind of electric. There's no rain, and if there is, it's flash floods. And we've got this kind of electric energy, and where I am it's very dry, although there was 50 meters of flooding in Auch, the capital of the Gers where I am, where William and Kate, they came and stayed next to me, and they went and opened the Lion Gates in 2016. So Auch is the capital, and that was an important moment for William and Kate. And we've just had this dam break in Ukraine that I'm going to take you to see, a nuclear threat, and what's happening we're going to go over since the last video. But here you can see right now, so we've got 6/7. It was the 76th Festival of CAEN, that's today, and yesterday, for the explosion of the dam, it was D-Day. So 6/6 can be 9/9, 69, 96. So I just went to look for this picture I fell on the other day, and it's rather interesting, with 396 as the root, Mars chakra, the heart passage 639, and Saturn, the crown, at 963. So yesterday was D-Day, 6/6, and that it was in 1944, Omaha Beach in Normandy. So let's have a look. 1944, and see. 1944, June the 6th, we had Saturn on the wand of Merlin, and Saturn is right now right on Fomalhaut, right at home in the true kingdom of air and earth, Father Air, Mother Earth. So Saturn at home right now, and we've got Pluto retrograding from Capricorn, and he will hit Sagittarius on the 8th of July 2023, and he will stay in Sagittarius, yellow fire, Asia, from black earth, North America. He will be back to yellow and then back to black on the 3rd of January. So back to 1944, we had Saturn right in the gap of where we're moving from one age, Gemini ruling the summer solstice, to Taurus ruling the summer solstice. So that was a very important day. Saturn right on the wand of Merlin. That is the galactic gap. And you see on that day, the sun was on Taurus, Venus, both were on the bullseye. Mercury was in Taurus. Mars was in Cancer, exactly where Mars is now. And Jupiter was in Leo, fire, exactly as Jupiter is now in Aries, high cardinal fire. So I'm going to be taking you to see the chart, but this is all very important. So D-Day 1944, Uranus was fully right on Aldebaran, right conjunct Venus on Aldebaran, and now Uranus is still in Aries, conjunct Mercury, and we've got Jupiter conjunct to the head of the snake, and I can't see on Stellarium where the Milky Way snake was, but I've certainly looked at that in other videos. You can go and check that out, that date. But the head of the snake, very rare, it's conjunct to Jupiter, tail in Libra, high cardinal cross currently. And in 1944 we had Uranus conjunct Venus, and now for this D-Day we've got, let's go back to now, 2023. So there's Uranus and Mercury conjunct. Mercury still in Aries, Uranus in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, and the head of the snake, the Rahu and Ketu go in the opposite direction of the planet. So Rahu is finishing his time in Aries, and he's going back to finish his cycle in Pisces. Chiron's last. He was discovered in 1977. No, that's Chiron. This is Rahu and Ketu. Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about Chiron. So Chiron, Chiron will have completed, and he'll be back in P for the Chiro P, the sword in the stone. He was discovered in 1977 on mainstream astrology. He was discovered in Aries, but for us, he was just discovered at the beginning of Pisces, and he'll be back there for the 2024 Olympics. So Sun, just like D-Day, on Aldebaran, and we had Mars here for the floods in New Zealand, for the death of the Queen, for the falling of Notre Dame, and for that famous Easter Day 2019 when my dog Happy was died, and in 2016 that was to open COVID 2019, and 2016 Kate and Willie came to the chateau just next to me here. So the most very important thing about what's happening here, so Saturn right on Fomalhaut, this is his true kingdom, and for 1944 D-Day he was on the Wand of Merlin in that gap. And we've got Pluto right now, so that was for the 6-6. Today Pluto is conjunct to the moon, and they are still in Capricorn, and on the 7, so 7-7 he's still just in Capricorn, and then 7-8 he's back in Sagittarius, and that will be until still in Sagittarius until the 3rd of the 1st. So this is that period of Jupiter. He's been the empire for Asia, the time of the beginning of the wheel, Sagittarius, for what the time we're ending now, Jupiter. So Peter, Paul, and in French they say Pierre, Paul, and rising Jacques. We've got all those paths, Saint-Jacques de Compostelle, the Saint-Jacques shell, the shell is the shell of Venus. So Venus then will be there, come back to now. So for D-Day yesterday, we have got Venus and Mars in Cancer, high cardinal. The moon rules Cancer, and the moon 2 days before, so right yesterday, say 7 o'clock in the morning, for the dam breaking completely, was on NUNKI, the noon key, the key to the midday express, on that LL bow right into killing Scorpio. And we had 2 days before, so I said it was 64, but officially that full moon was the 3rd of the 6th, but it was just before midnight. and we've got, as we cross over into midnight, that moon is still full on Antares. So it was that between the 63 and the 64. 63 is 36 or 39. It's the completion of the wheel, 360. So we had moon. That was a full strawberry moon because Antares is a demon star, and it's, you know, it's bigger than the sun. It's red. It's that red energy of Mars and Jupiter in the heart of Scorpio. And we had the sun in Taurus. So when the sun is in Taurus, we on Earth are actually in Scorpio. And this is the gap, because we've got on the 7-3, that famous 3773, we're going to have the next full moon on the axis of Sagittarius Gemini. So the moon and the sun bang with Mercury, the ruler, not at all invisible and very full in Gemini. So it's this gap between Taurus and Gemini. The sun has, we've just had the full moon with the sun on Aldebaran and the moon in Scorpio. And the next full moon is going to be in Sagittarius, and this is the GG galactic gap. So this was yesterday, 6-6 in Kakhovka, right on the Black Sea. I'll show you. And this was the full moon. I put 4-6, but it's 3-6 as well, the third. It's right. So we still have this grand cross between the cardinal signs. So a cardinal grand cross is that inner turmoil, and that it doesn't have to be bad. It's just in, you know, very, very high cardinal gas energy. And here's Pluto retrograding back to Sagittarius. This is the full moon. So apparently the dam had a first break for this full moon, and it was already beginning to flood, and then the dam broke fully for the 6th. So we had Jupiter conjunct the North Node. That's massive. That doesn't happen very often. And we've got Jupiter and Mercury in Aries. Everything that the rulers of the mutable cross want, to be in this cardinal energy. Saturn sitting at home on the fixed cross, on the true third eye that will fall onto the horizon for the new winter solstice fully by 2083. That's something that you'll see if you watch the video that Lars and I did. I'll talk more about that later. So Saturn on the fixed cross, Jupiter, Mercury, North Node, and Mercury conjunct Uranus. Conjunct Uranus in high cardinal fire, explosion, the mind, the Mercury rising, Jupiter rising, the blood boiling, and the ruler of Aries, Mars, in Cancer, and the ruler of Cancer in Scorpio, the moon. So coming up, we're going to have that moon yesterday was in Sagittarius. So sun, moon, full, the ruler of where the sun is, Taurus, with Mars, war and peace in high cardinal water. So this floods, making this square to Jupiter and Rahu, making a square to Ketu, the tail in Libra, both ruled by Venus, with Venus in Cancer. So there's a lot of mutual reception going on between this grand cross and Pluto will be back here. And this is massive because this is what they want, to merge Capricorn and Sagittarius, black and yellow, to make the B, the 13, to crown this gap between Sagittarius and Scorpio and Taurus and Gemini. This is where we're going from full expansion back to contraction. We've got to find that middle point, and we've seen that sigil that LARS drew so beautifully of the Lucifer sigil, which is trapping us in that gap and crucifying the fixed cross. And that's another thing you'll see in Lars's video. You'll see that all the constellations are different sizes. So at the moment we're playing with the summer solstice with Taurus and Gemini. They're half, and the rest of the cross is still on the mutable signs. We're not the only fixed cross. The first fixed cross to arrive is Taurus, black earth. So, you know, here as well, we've got that energy of black and yellow. Black earth, yellow fire. Here, black earth, yellow fire. Here, between Virgo, the whore of Babylon as well. Black earth, yellow fire. I'll be taking you to see my blog, but what was going on for this full moon? We had Prince Charles back in Romania, Rocky Horror Show, Transylvania, and I'll be explaining that. And we had Kate and William in the Jordan for a marriage. The Jordan, the Nile of Jordan. So all that is that Aries energy, Ra, Jordan. And we've got this rising Sagittarius coming from, and for the Scorpio full moon, the east, the descendant, making this new line, bringing in the east, the lunar energy. So this full moon is really an opportunity to put on your cardinal cap. And, you know, the Sagittarius is the cape, the fake heroes. They don't have the cap. This is really a great energy for us to step into our high cardinal power so that we can't fall into fear, which is what they need to ignite this atom. And then yesterday for D-Day, we've got the moon in Sagittarius on that NUNKI, and we've got the ruler of the moon, Cancer, with Mars and Venus. Mars ruling Aries and Venus ruling Taurus and Libra, where the tail is. So again, we've still got that ground cross, and we've still got, you know, this semi-square between Sun and Venus and Mars. So there's no mutable energy. There's just Neptune in Pisces, and the only planet retrograde is Pluto. And it's, you know, it really is that last elastic band with Saturn at home. So really trying to make their black and yellow bees here. I'm going to take you through a few posts. I haven't had time to make another. I'm going to make one after this video, another blog post, but there's another 3 since last week's video. So the latest post, we'll start with this. There are 2 main forces from above: expansion, Jupiter, youth, and contraction, Saturn, old age. Expansion, Jupiter, is growth, luck, learning, experience, man-made law. Jupiter rules Asia, yellow, fire, Sagittarius. Jude PolO, and Europe, white water, Pisces, Jude Pete. Mutable, fire and water. That's youth energy. It's mutable. He doesn't have cardinal. He doesn't have fixed. And that's why these charts are so prominent right now, because Jupiter is in cardinal energy with Mercury in that high cardinal fire, which is, if you see the video of LARS, you can see the solstice, winter and summer, and the equinoxes of spring, autumn, and which signs are ruling where in the world. And Aries is really this new area of Saudi Arabia and all that part of the world, and that is very much the place that Mars wants to be. And Jupiter is rising with Mercury and Mars to make this new green man. You know, all that part of the world will become green. So Europe, white water, Pisces, Jude Pete. Mutable fire, water, Jude Pete. That's the Empire, Jupiter. They don't want humans finding their own government, crown, Saturn. So the cap, they want to keep you under the cape of Jupiter, so you don't find your cap. So they made Pierre, Europe, Paul, Asia, and now Jacques and the Beanstalk, Mr. Bean. Saint-Martin de Tours is the flesh experience of being in a human vessel. Saint-Martin de Tours kills Saint-Saturnin, spirit behind a bull. And I think I've got the story of the bull and the martyr. So the martyr, the Pisces energy, getting through Pisces back to Aquarius and Capricorn, and the bull, the philosopher's stone. And this isn't, they don't talk about Saint Martin. They talk about Saint Martin, but they don't talk about what he did to Saint Saturnin. We can look at a picture. So here is Saint Saturnin, the name of the main street in my village and the church. And there is the bull pulling Saint Saturnin to his death down the steps. So Notre Dame de Tours, Saturn's successor at Toulouse. So again, the town of the Pink Panther, the pink town, the rose in French, the square, and that's what this story is about. The Rue Saint-Tour, with its patron saint, Saturnin Sernin, who was martyred in the 3rd century according to legend. Saturnin, the first bishop of Toulouse, was chained to a taur or bull that dragged him down the Rue de Tours. The church of Notre Dame de Tours is standing on the exact spot where the corpse of Saint Saturnin was detached from the bull as it rampaged down the streets. So this is what we've got now, the sun on the bull, and it's exactly this picture. Goodness, that took a long time to find this picture. So this is exactly what we've got now. Sun in Taurus, bringing up the stag, making her Taurus, this masculine energy. And we've got Mars in Cancer, and this is Saint Hubert. Same story as Saint Martin. And it's exactly what we've got. So yesterday for D-Day, we've got Mars in Cancer. It's the red hat in the white moon, and the sun right between the antlers and making the deer, the cow, into the bull, the stag. So Saint Martin de Tours kills Saint Saturnin, spirit behind a bull. Jupiter, fox, hare. We're in the year of the rabbit. Water, fire, red pill, blue pill, pillar. Saturn, crow, tortoise, earth, air, middle pillar. Contraction, Saturn is your karma. It's facing fear and leaving all the bright lights of Jupiter behind. returning to simplicity and inner truth, finding your true calling and no longer being afraid of being a lone star. Saturn is the last visible planet and your journey from lead to spirit, merging of Sun and Moon and Venus and Mars. Mercury is your inner messenger, so you may connect to the 3 outer planets: Neptune, imagination; Uranus, conscious mind; Pluto, subconscious mind. South America, air, red; Aquarius; North America, black, earth, Capricorn, NASA. So that's for the winter solstice, but the signs are changing with each solstice and equinox. And Africa, black earth; Saturn, air, earth, is getting past the empire, fire, water, your emotion, your passion, your duality, and finding your own authentic authority, responsibility, getting past belief programs, religion, new age, this obsession with the flesh, yoga. All this is for, and the bodybuilding, yoga, Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical. That was really the trigger at her death. We're completely in this physical obsession. When it's all moderation, everything in moderation. Never fall for vanity. It's not a pretty sight. Aim for simple moderation and you will look all right. Okay, I think I just made that up. It wasn't actually that, but anyway, that will do. So getting past the belief programs, deceits, lies, flesh, desires, needs of growth. It's about old age and returning to spirit through hard work, perseverance, returning to natural laws and practice, and leaving the fabricated existence behind. Finding the wheel again, astrology, alchemy, and the wisdom lost. So we carry on. I just did this post here. It will all be going into my blog. Pluto is in Capricorn, the true black cat. Pluto returns to Sagittarius, yellow cape, LOLO, submarine from 8th of July, 8/7/2023 till 3rd of January, 1/3/2024. To be or not to be, the god Atum, one of the oldest gods of ancient Egypt. God Atum was the essential part of the Egyptian cosmology and sowed immortality in heaven and change on earth. Capricorn, Saturn, and Sagittarius, Jupiter, black earth, yellow fire. This is how they make the nuclear atom, atom. So Rowan Atkinson, that his name, that comes from the name Atkin, comes from Adam. Popov was the Russian who discovered the radio signal, which is just merging of your right-left brain. Plasma event, nucleus between Jupiter and Saturn. It is your opportunity to merge expansion Jupiter with contraction Saturn. You are the NRG or RJ. Scorpio is the J constellation where we had that full moon. So, Sun on Aldebaran, these are the royal fixed stars. Moon right in the heart of Scorpio. And if we put the constellations, you see the J, and the 3 triad here. That's your J Joker. And Sagittarius is the teapot, the Mad Hatter's tea party. And this is the gap coming through right now. Nucleus between Jupiter and Saturn. It is your opportunity to merge expansion Jupiter and contraction Saturn. You are the energy power system to ignite the Tour d'Eiffel, Eiffel. So the Eiffel Tower is really a massive energy sucking of the unconscious human. So these are just a few pictures. So they put that pulse, the yellow and black for the nuclear threats. There's your yellow and black nuclear, the B. Now this has been going around YouTube, but it's actually from 4 years ago, but it's all out at the moment. So he's got the gap behind him. This is relating to free speech. So he puts his passionate belief, and his first number importance is eating food, obviously, because this is the jester. This is the joker. This is the little jester, fleur de lis, the bee. Feel free to insult me. To insult me. So, you know, everything seems like it's very good, but this is Mr. Bean. This is Jack and the Beanstalk. This is Pierre Paul bringing up Jack in this galactic gap. This gap, which I think is Pluto's retrograde before he goes back for 2024. So this is the Joker time, and it's a time to help. You know, they're helping you, they're alchemically herding you, and you're not to fall for the Joker. He played Black Adder. He was in Not the 9 O'Clock News, in Monty Python. They tell you. So one of Lars's pictures, and you see we've got black earth, yellow fire. When you can find all for one and one for all, air and fire masculine, earth and water feminine, you find your fifth element, higher consciousness. And that heart passage 693 that we saw can bring you to the 963, to that higher consciousness. So that is Pluto, we've just seen, returning to Sagittarius on the 8th of July. And that's him returning back to Capricorn on the 3rd of January. So again, Saturn is that contraction, and Jupiter is the full expansion of the mutable cross, Jupiter-Mercury, Jupiter-Mercury. And at the moment, we've got all the planets in high cardinal and fixed energy. So Jupiter wants to be part of the action. Jupiter and Mercury are in Aries. Find the riddle of contraction and expansion in the flower of life, driven by the 5 elements. This is the dance, Mars and Venus, Moon, the lunar nodes. The DNA dance. Every 8 years, Venus makes this 5-pointed star. It's opening and shutting, the breathing, the contraction, expansion. So we've got the black and yellow, and we've got that 90-degree angle of the gun. It's the voice finding the spirit again. That right angle, 90 degrees, which is what these charts are. These are 490 degrees. It's the Grand Cross. So this is about the Grand Cross. The 90-degree angles is a rare natal chart which occurs when 4 planets are separated by 90 degrees, forming a square shape. So you've got 9999. Those 4 angles makes the 4 legs, 7777, 111, 99 PP, or 66 GG. So that's why GG is 77, 77 is 2 90-degree angles. Here we've got the 4. So a cardinal, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, a grand cardinal cross is the most challenging modality of all the crosses, as it holds the most power. Cardinal signs, initiation, action, and take the lead. So this grand cross feels like 4 alphas are fighting to take the lead. You may feel constantly pulled between different directions without knowing how to begin. However, if you master this Grand Cross, you'll be known as a high achiever, succeeding in multiple areas of your life. So this is the energy we're feeling, especially us little mutable adapts. We're rising in cardinal energy. If we come out of the drama and the the confusion and the push and pull of that duality and emotional reactions. So we're really, if you use this properly, we become the gas. We're not going to go pop off. Okay, so again, Jane Birkin, Boaz Jacquin, Jeanne de Barry. She is the passage between the two temples. You've got to get past this high priestess of alchemy and that love-hate, je t'aime moi non plus. We've got Mars and Venus in Cancer. BB, the 213s, back to front. That's also, BB is 22 and Tina Turner TT is 2020. That's 22. And 2001, Odyssey 2001 till now, 2023. We've got that famous image of Mars on Aldebaran, as we had for the floods in New Zealand and for the death of the Queen. It's 22, and 22 years from 2001 to now. So that was the falling of the Twin Towers, the DNA. And we're at catch 22, the film catch 22. We're at that catch, we're at that decision making time when you have to get past the madness, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Pluto's going back to the teapot. It's his last visit back to the teapot. We're in the year of the hare. Next year is the year of the dragon. And we're going to have the North Node. The North Node now in Aries going back into Pisces, as Chiron will too. So we've got the North Node going back into Pisces and Chiron coming from Pisces to Aries. Yeah. So the closing, Chiron, I think, was discovered in 77. I get confused maybe it was in Pisces, but for us on sidereal astrology, it's going to be the closure when he comes back to Aries, and North Node goes in the other direction, will be in Pisces. So that 2-2 back to front makes a heart, and if you reflect that onto the water surface, you're going to get your 3-3 again. There's the 3-3, it's the CC, so it's a whole play on lots of different numbers. So we're back. Tina Turner died on exactly that path of Uranus. Back to the opening in 1939 of World War II. It's the beehive, ascending Jupiter, atom, and that beetle. Lots of people have been playing the beetle. The beetle shows the 4 parts of the brain, and the fleur de lis, and that blood and honey should be milk and honey, but when Mars is in milky Cancer and the moon, the ruler, is in Sagittarius. So we read that last time. She was the queen bee for National Bee Day. Inanna. This is the passage of Inanna, and this is the keeper of the 4 corners. This is the fertility god, which is the ruler of this gap, of the closing of the 4 corners. And that's what I went to in New Zealand. I was taken along. You can see those pictures in the first blog I did when I came back from New Zealand. And there are pictures of me and of this big ceremony at the Point Sulphur. So there were all the school children, Mercury, and we were on the seabed, on the sea, salt, mercury, sulfur, the 3, the atom, the nucleus, the proton, the electron, the liquid, the solid, and the gas, and the keeper of the 4 corners. You got to get past this gatekeeper. This is Rumpelstiltskin. You've got to know your name. You've got to find his name. This is the the Egyptian god Bes. And this is the head of the dwarves that I met when my daughter was about to give birth the last time I was in New Zealand in 2016. I've had to face this guy. There he is. So there's Sirius, and we can see that yesterday we had, if that was around 7 a.m, the 6th of June, we've got this axis of Sirius Altair, this Merlin and Arthur, and the keeper of the four corners. So right where we have this explosion, the flooding, the fertility, the fertility gods. This is the gap. These are the rulers of the gap, the Milky Way between the Silver Gate, Taurus, the Golden Gate. So yeah, Silver Gate is between Taurus and Gemini, and the Golden Gate here. So this is the summer triangle and the winter triangle. And they merge, just like in that Pink Floyd 50 Years. You've got the prism with the light going through, so the colour, the flesh, back to spirits. He's standing between the two pillars, and that is the box that I saw being closed in New Zealand. It's the passage. So 2001 we had the beginning of Loft Story, all that, the Big Brother, people being closed in a room and just having that voice, that observer being observed, shut in the box, shut back in Pandora's box. You have to open your medulla, your Medusa, or you know, you're going to get the Tina Turner hair, the Medusa hair, the plasma events. So we've got here yellow fire, black earth, Africa and Asia, America and Asia. He's wearing the black and golds, Pondalma, and then again the yellow and the black and the red and the white, the four colours. Cat on a hot tin roof. Eva Braun, I've been looking at her chart, I've been looking at the chart of Eva Peron, and a lot of Madonna as well. Very, very interesting how they play all this. And there she is, playing exactly that role right now. It's an LO, and this is the gap between Scorpio and Sagittarius. We've just had the full moon in Scorpio, then we're going to have the full moon in Sagittarius. We've got Saturn at home in Aquarius, and we've got Pluto coming back to fire, so they can crown this green god here, and that will be the sun. The sun was just in Taurus for the full moon in Scorpio, and the sun will be in Gemini for the full moon in Sagittarius. We're right at the gap. Okay, you know all that, the fleur-de-lis. We had Prince Charles with his house in Biggie BB. I'll be showing you the pictures, and there's a big fleur-de-lis, the ostrich feathers. But he doesn't have any air, Sagittarius. He needs those feathers, that air. But it's the jester cap. Ike Turner, this is what's going on. Bringing up Ophiuchus, this 13th sign, making BB, shutting both corners back home, keeping us stuck in the full expansion, and there is Inanna. There is that she is the Queen Weaver, fertility. She is that gap between the brain we've got to get back through. There she is. She is the keeper of the four corners. Moon, sun, the merging, and the four corners. So this again shows you the black and yellow, Saturn and Jupiter. This is the fake priesthood of mankind, crucifying the fixed cross in the gap, closing the high cardinal with the mutable signs. And here is the true closing, and we should have Sagittarius, Pisces, Jupiter, and Mercury, Virgo and Gemini. We close, we leave the age of Pisces, but we've got these years between now and 2083 where we got to get through this Joker Lucifer energy. That was interesting. We've got 7-3, so the full moon was on 6-3 and the next full moon is on 7-3. Black and yellow, the meter. The meter, life's like a taxi, the meter keeps ticking. So this is taxi driver, this is very much Gemini and Sagittarius. Much Mercury. That black and yellow all the time, that black and yellow, the I am, the Harry, black and yellow, and of course, killers of the flower moon, one at CAEN, and today is the 7-6, and there was 7 minutes ovation for Jean de Barry and 9 minutes ovation for Killers of the Flower Moon with De Niro. The can, yellow, black, and the reds, and Toulouse, where Saint Martin de Tours killed Saint Martin, killed Saint Saturnin, the yellow and the black. And little Vanessa Paradis, who plays that canary in the Coco Chanel CC. The canary is the medulla stuck in a cage, and she went under the Pont d'Alma in that song Joe, the taxi, where Princess Diana was killed, and was shown that 13th pillar. There's the Pont d'Alma, and back to that pulse. So this is yesterday's damage to Ukraine's Nova, Kakhovka. Let's just have a look on the map too. So here's on the map, very important is the longitude, latitude. I'm going to be showing you 46 chromosomes when I'm 64 and 33 the spine. And I'll show that to you more when we get to the pictures. But so we've got, it's right and the entry to the Black Sea. And there's also this passage from Russia. You can come in through here. There's this, you can come in through breaking this barrier here. They can come in through here. So this is really the opening of the gates. We've just had Prince Charles in Romania, and we've had in Jordan, Kate and Willie, and that Black Sea, back to black. So hold on to your coconuts. The Empire strikes back. It's the BJ blowjob. Nova Kakhovka dam breaks. Latitude 46 north. When I'm 64 chromosomes. Cranberry, Ukraine. The skull. The singer that sung Zombie died at 46 years old. And this is the Beatle Juice. The crane is the Beatle. Beatles sang When I'm 64. Longitude 33, the spine, D-Day, JOUR G NRG, JOUR G is D-Day in French, and it's that play on the J for the Joker with the G for the 7. Notre Dame fell, again, it's her waters that break. Sun on Aldebaran, Taurus, as Mars was on Aldebaran for the falling of Notre Dame, death of the Queen, and the floods in the New Zealand. 66FF, my dad's birthday, and it's the COcO killer of the flower moon. As moon was on NUNKI, the elbow of the Archer D'artagnan Sagittarius. So there was a massive thing on D'artagnan. I'll be showing you right next to where I live. A whole 4 pages in the newspapers for this full moon that we've just had. Sagittarius is Buffalo Bill, is D'Artagnan. He is the last leg of the mutable cross and the last chance for the Empire to bring up their Jacques. Straight into the heart of Scorpio Antares, where full moon was 6364 2 days ago. Moon rules Cancer, where Mars, Venus, War, Peace sit. And Mars rules Aries, where Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, Jude PolO, sits in Aries. Mercury conjunct Uranus, explosion, and RAHU's snake head, North Lunar Node, conjunct Jupiter, all in Aries, ruled by Mars. Venus, also in Cancer, rules Libra and Taurus, where Sun sits in Taurus, and tail of the snake sits in Libra Omega. Neptune in Pisces, Chiron in Pisces. Look at that Grand Cross, all in cardinal signs, as Pluto retro in Capricorn before reaching Sagittarius. Retro Aka Black Capricorn, LO Sagittarius, the B I told you between now and the full moon in Sagittarius, 7-3, followed by Pluto return in Sagittarius, 7-7-7-8. Last retro before fully in Capricorn is humongous, for the Empire strikes back. So, these are just a few pictures. We had on the 1st and the 2nd of June some breakage, and then for yesterday, D-Day, those waters breaking. That is the chart I've just showed you. And that is, again, yesterday, the moon on NUNKI on the elbow that strikes into the fertility, life, death portal, Scorpio, and bringing up this 13th sign of Fucius. Saturn right on Formahold on the thigh, and Jupiter rules the thigh. So this is all, you know, how they're playing this game. It's all perfect timing. And World War II would have been timed to be a reflection for the much needed now. There's the Sun on Aldebaran right there for that 6-6. Jupiter conjunct North Node, and Uranus and Mercury conjunct right under Medulla. Venus and Mars in Cancer, high cardinal. That's Kali with her tongue sticking out. That is your best, your god of fertility. Mars wanting to take that energy. Comment on that post from Lara. It is the amniotic fluid that symbolizes the birth of a new era. The primal waters of Nun. Well, there's your NUNKI, the key to Nun. Nun. We've got the key right on NUNKI, which is the tip of the teapot. NUNKI, the key to the NUNKI. Well, there you go. He represents the waters of chaos, out of which, so Cancer, the waters of chaos, of which atom began creation. So after the floods, it was a time of Cancer. And then we moved into the age of Gemini, where we retrieved some of the wisdom lost through Thoth, through the emerald tablets, coming from the age of Libra, and now we enter the age of Aquarius. We should be getting this wisdom back. It's about the dead of Osiris, the 14 pieces of Osiris, all for one and one for all, and none. It's the Milky Way. The primeval sea took Osiris away to hide his secrets. The death of Osiris threw the cosmos into chaos and made the gods weep. And there you've got Amit, the devourer of the dead. Is your heart heavier than the feather? This popped out, this popped up, and I'll turn the volume down a little bit, but listen to this.
Tailor, soldier, rich man, beggar man.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's it. Good times. Plowman, painter, preacher, jailer, bard, scribe, whisperer of grief. Sorry, what? Alchemist, prophet, enchanter, spy, dreamer, jester, falcon's eye. You've been on the marshes late at night again, haven't you? Moon-mad scholar, star-born hound, key-keeper of the shadowed ground. Crone whisperer, faceless queen, puppet master behind the unseen, song singer of the midnight sun, keeper of the forgotten one. Can you? Archivist of the cyclopean tone, scribe of the echo in elder's bone, silent sentinel of the abyss, witness of the last unholy kiss. Why does this happen every time we hang out? So round and round the roles we play in this grand theatre of night and day. Tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, darker still, the cosmic jailer. Hey, do you remember that rhyme we used to say in the playground?
So, that's perfect. That's exactly what's going on. The key holder, the keeper of the four corners, the NUNKI, the nut, the devourer of the dead, the reaper that we saw at the coronation. You know, we're right in it. Okay, let's go down. So please go through pics. Hard to organize them in order. Look, the beanstalk is not the arbre de vie, it's being lit. Your lamp, PB, post, bulb. Marketing is so very clever, not the 9 o'clock news, my favorite. However, as they are alchemically herding you, this is the subconscious trigger. Black, yellow, B, fleur de lis, Pluto retro and Capricorn. Black, nearly back to LO, electric light orchestra, for the fleur de lis crown of the jester joker. This is Mr. Bean, the green god, trigger for mass awakening plasma event. You are a beanstalk, LO light orchestra system, and they are waking you up slowly to feed the light of Lucifer. It's the fertility god, Mr. Tumnus, Jacques the Ripper, Jack and the Beanstalk, the 33 vertebrae, the sapin, Spain, the rain in Spain, spine, penis, the CC3322, 20 through 3 DNA, ADN, Dan, Ann, Rowan, back to front, reflected awakening passage, all planned like this, and he is your trigger. He's being used as the trigger, as the J for Joker. Scorpio constellation is the JOUR NRG, JOUR G. So I was saying this before I knew about this D-Day. People are so gullible. This is how you are subconsciously turned on and off like Duracell batteries. We're here to soften the blowjob. You need to see through the games and slowly see how you are the light bulb. This 7-3 after the 6-4, well, it's maybe 6-3, full moon in Scorpio. This is the next full moon coming up. 7-3 in Sagittarius, a Sun, Mercury in Gemini, and Mars, Venus on Regulus Leo. So they're going to be in Leo. And then Venus will do her retrograde between Leo and Cancer. The Sun and the Moon should merge to open your gates opposite into Saturn. So in Leo, Regulus Leo, this is your new god energy rising, Mr. Bean, the gardener. Chiron, and so little red heads. what was Little Redhead meaning? Little Redhead. Rowan is a gender-neutral name of Irish and Scottish origins deriving from Rudden, meaning Little Redhead. A strong surname, Rowan is also as beloved in nature as in folklore. Atkinson. Atkinson is an English language surname. The name is derived from a patronymic form of the Middle English Atkin. The personal name Atkin is one of many pet forms of the name Adam, Atom, Atom, Atom. Bomb is you. Right, so this flood is happening by a big nuclear place. So again, that's the full moon coming up, Mercury and the Sun, opposite again the moon, where it is. It's exactly where it is for this D-Day 6-6 we've just had. The NUNKI. That's incredible. Green man. So this is just showing you. So for that 7-3 full moon, then we've got Venus and Mars in Leo before Venus makes that journey back to Cancer, as Pluto comes back into Sagittarius. Wowee. Incredible. That moon is exactly where it is. And there they are. Mars in Cancer. Sun in on the Stag. This is making the Free Martins, the twins, Gemini. The Sun will be in Gemini and it's now in Taurus. We want to bring up this masculinization. The Free Martins, 70% of women will be sterile in a brave new world. And it's through the twins. Through the twins, the passing of the hormones between the twins in the womb. So again, that's the Jupiter symbol for the Paris Olympics, liberty and glory, LG, BT, British Telecom. This is your medulla. She's got the plasma event hair. Again, you just see, so here we've got the alchemy, this androgynous merging of the sun and the moon. And, you know, this is all this ridiculous stuff that Jordan Peterson, JP, Jude, Pete and Paul does, all this anger fighting against. Saturn is an androgynous energy. It's when you've merged your sun and your moon, your sun and your moon. The sun standing on that moon, the three snakes, and the, you know, that's the eagle or the phoenix. Father Christmas, taking the Star of Bethlehem. So the tree of life, there are two great systems in the body of man. The tree of life, which is the arterial with its roots in the heart, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, i.e. the nervous system, which has its roots in the brain. These two trees are physical manifestations of a complicated network of branching energy currents in the aura or superphysical bodies. Manly P. Hall. Electric light orchestra. Yellow, LOLO, yellow, yellow. The four corners, they're showing us 3 light years. So the 4 corners and the 3 crosses. And there's the Paris with the squared circle, the Lord of the Rings. Plasma events, which is the new Elizabeth line on its sides. That purple Elizabeth metro line is the image of the stick man. In the plasma event, it's that ultraviolet, ultraviolence. and the jester, Mr. Bean, doing the walk, making that 90-degree angle a little bit more, going above the 90-degree angle to make the northeast angle. And he's got Mars, Jupiter and Saturn to make the gun. You got to find that merging, find that last angle. PhD in electrical engineering, made the world laugh without saying a word. Mr. Bean, the Black Panther, The Good Life, GL, LG, Liberty and Glory. That is just the spine, the dance, that taxi of Meghan and Harry. Man versus bee, we've actually got, and this is him, I think it's in Black Adder again, it's the Georgian, and he also played in that World War II thing. The Cairo, the Green Man, 33 vertebrae. This is all the pagan energy in England now. And this is the famous Lord Gruffalo, LG, that won badminton, and Liberty and Glory fell. I showed you that, bringing up this beast energy of flesh, when green is the heart way through. It's a passage. Jack and the Beanstalk. Jordan, where Kate and Willie have just been, the Jordan River. Optic fiber, the Lucifer light, and this passage 3773. So we've got the full moon on 7-3, and there's Jack and the Beanstalk, and there is Saint Martin de Tours sitting on this axis where we've just had the full moon between Scorpio and Taurus, and killing the snake, taking her fertility. There, and the I am, and the nuclear, and the pulse, and the famous PC, Pollux and Castor. And I don't know, you know, I always say that's where the two great eclipses are, between 2017 and the new axis for 2024. But is that really America? Where is that? Okay. So this was going on just before that full moon, 3773L, the Vesica Pisces passage, I, mutable cross, Sagittarius, D'Artagnan, the last musketeer, 9th house, V for vendetta, Valentine, when V for victory, is the Pisces constellation today. 6-4 full moon in Scorpio, and 3-7 full moon in Sagittarius, and 777 Pluto enters, so that will be in the pictures. So they're basically opening the wall, this gap. So for the occasion of the 350 years since the death of D'Artagnan, la dépêche du midi s'est rendue à Maastricht pour retracer les derniers jours du plus célèbre de mousquetaires. So his journey to Maastricht, to where I live, from Holland, Orange, Amsterdam, Maastricht. So the cape and the swords, and there he is standing in Auch, where Kate and Willie came to open the gates. And plus de 3 millions d'entrées, what's that? Okay, yeah, the film has just come out, so 3 million people went to see the film. You know, they are bringing him up. There he is, wanting to take over the fixed cross himself. He sacrifices the fixed cross and puts himself there. Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots kills the egg, the moon, the heads. So those are giving you dates. So between 1611, so this is where he is. Hotel Partita number 33, 1673. And it's all where I live, in the village next to where I live. And where I am is the Saint-Saturnin, and where my village, Aignan, is the Dart Aignan, the Dart in Aignan. So the bull fures and everywhere, and ils sont fait canarder. So canard again, the duck, can. So basically just were exposed. So 25th of June is the date of which the death of D'Artagnan in Maastricht, 1673. So that's a 7. June is a 6. That's 7-6. And that's today. It was the 76th Festival of Cannes. 7-6. And then 6. 1-6 is another 7. So we've got 7-6, 7-7-3. That date. And again, okay. This is LARS video, which is now available on my site. You just go onto my site and there's a window for videos where you can go. So at the moment it's at 39 euros because this is very important information. It's LARS, and I give 15 euros of every video sold to LARS. PayPal takes off for 5 euros for that video, and so you know it's almost half for us. But I am going to work out how I'm going to be doing this when I start to make videos that I will sell online. They will be a lot cheaper, and there will be a possibility to rent videos at a much cheaper price, but I'm not sure how to do it with LARS videos, and if I'll do that with LARS's videos, because these are, but I will make a price for people who've already had a natal reading, and I'm working it out. But for the moment, that's the first video that I'm selling, and it's it goes to LARS and myself. And you know, I paid and paid 200 to get the words done. I pay a lot to the woman who helps me with my site. You have no idea how much it cost me to do that beginner course, to get through the mess I went through. And to eventually now be able to have everything just on my Wix site. So I paid all these services, I had so many different sites and ridiculous nonsense I got into, when it can all really be very simple and just on my site. So for the moment, I'm still making my way through. I'm certainly not making any money from anything yet. It's just a beginning of having more services to offer and creating this community that I'm doing, and just to respect the incredible work of LARS. This is too important info to just give away. Okay, so this is the new blog. So the Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is all to do with, so this is the end of the mutable cross, the crucifixion of of Peter upside down, the Leonardo showing us between the mutable and the fixed cross, this gap, this moment, this gap that we're, you know, they want to keep us stuck in that gap between the mutable and the cardinal cross. They show us. So how the royal family is linked to Count Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, who inspired. So it is believed that Queen Mary, consort of George V, was related to the 15th century slayer Vlad the Impaler, who was also known as Dracula. Vlad's, is it recording? Yes. Is said to have dispatched more than 100,000 Turkish warriors in battle. The vampire legend was fed by his predilection for eating bread dipped in his victims' blood. So fee fi fo fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. I also see a scenario of something coming up with Catherine the Great and Catherine of and William, you know, there's some big scenario with Harry. I was looking at Harry's chart as well. I mean, it's so enormous for him. This is the kind of thing that I'll do in my private videos, because there's a lot to explain about Madonna, about Harry, and their charts, and what could happen. You know, bringing up something like Harry's wife as being a main role person, and something happening to the royal family in England, just like in the Russian Revolution, and what happened to the royals in France for the French Revolution. I mean, they're telling us, between Marie Antoinette, between this film of Jean de Barry coming out now. So you can come and see this article. Bohemian Rhapsody, we're really in this energy now, and it's all the Prince of Wales, Charles de Gaulle, Charles de, and the Romanian used Dracula. You've got all the articles. Princess Elizabeth, the Elizabeth line, the Queen of Bohemia, and Electra's Palatine, which I have written about in my old articles on my old blog before I came back to astrology. That's the big spider of AI company now, Electron, the Electress, it's the Elizabeth. When this is the plasma event, you get blown up like Queen Elizabeth. Plasma events, I don't think I'm going to find. I've got them all in my old pictures, but it's the Elizabethan dress that is what you see from that plasma event. I wonder if I put Elizabethan, Eliza, so it's got the B, Elizabeth, Beth, Macbeth, Elizabethan. Yeah, it's in all my old videos. I did about 4 videos on this plasma event coming up this time last year, and explaining the Elizabeth line and all that, so you can go back over that. But that is this Elizabeth energy that was unveiled in Cornwall, the Cape, the angles, the pillars. So what's important that I want to show you is this here. So we've got Brad and Janet, the BJ, the Rocky Horror Show, and we had, if I look on the other articles, I was getting all excited there. So this Strawberry Full Moon and the Sultans of Swing, you get a shiver. So I saw all this happening. This was for the full Strawberry Moon. It's a full Strawberry Moon. I'm jumping around, I know, but let's try not to do another 2 hour here. It's a full Strawberry Moon in feminine fixed cross axis, water Scorpio, moon on Antares, royal star, sun in black, earth Taurus on Aldebaran, royal star, fixed cross, happening now 3/6, but complete is after midnight 6/4. And Charles is in Romania. His corona Tyon was on the 5th of the 6th, the full flower eclipse, full moon in Libra, sun in Aries, and 1 month later yellow blue joins red. It's ripe, it's fertile, it's the virgin land of the East. Pluto entered Capricorn 2023, as in 1776, but is retro going back to Sagittarius, Yellow Asia. Pluto will hit Sagittarius 7/7, and the next full moon is 7/3. So in Merlin, Arthur, Sagittarius, Gemini. You can read that. COcO, so it's all in there, and then I take the lines from the Sultans of Swing, and they've even got Harry in it. It's exactly, we are the Sultans of Swing, the trumpet playing, rock and roll. You check out Guitar George, he knows all the chords. Mind is strictly rhythm, he doesn't want to make it cry or sing. They said no, guitar is all he can afford when he gets up under the lights to play his thing. And Harry doesn't mind, if he doesn't make the scene, he's got a daytime job, he's doing all right, he can play the honky tonk like anything, saving it up for Friday night with the Sultans of Swing. So that was that full moon we've just had, Sun, Scorpio, and the strawberry full moon. And don't forget, Europe is that Scorpio strawberry because it's on Antares. There it is, full moon, and this is from the crown of Venus from Uno's videos. Strawberry supermoon, so it's also talking about no, that was not. So yeah, they say it's on the 4th of June. We're kind of, astrologers have got to. And then we had that conjunction I showed you in the last video of Moon and Venus on the 23rd, Earth's evil twin. And there he is with the Romanian president. That's the Romanian, the British flag. So the Ukraine flag, and now the blue, yellow and reds. France, Asia, America, and that kind of is for Europe, Europe blue. Test de d'Urberville, I just showed you Saint-Hubert, the strawberry, the last fertility of the people from the east, Nastasia Kinski. Got all these virgin girls they want, the upside down piece. The Joker hanging of St. Peter upside down, the cross. Strawberry fields forever, the red gates. Strawberry fields, strawberry is the blood fields, just like in Toulouse and Trafalgar Square, they were the Bloody Sunday. They're the blood fields. The film from the East of Joanna Jolly, what she called, you know, we've just seen all her pictures. Angela Jolly, her film, Blood and Honey, Strawberry, Imagine, Image, the Beatles, Strawberry Fields, and there he wears the hat 10, 6. That 10 is Capricorn and that 6 is Virgo, and the 6 can be the 9, going back to the teapot constellation of Sagittarius. And we're in the year of the rabbit. We're in the year of the rabbit. There's the teapot on the handle to start the T-Rex Scotty tea party. And in Saudi Arabia, they wear their tea cozies. Right, back. What am I looking at? Okay, yep, teapot, 64. When I'm 64, there's Ukraine next to Romania. The J with Antares of Scorpius, the betrayal of Judas. There's Merlin and Arthur coming up for this full moon on the 3rd of July. The European Union, the Scorpio. There's Vlad. Okay. So back to Rocky Horror, or was there actually, yep, this is it. I saw this happening because in the French newspapers just before this, they had the mysterious sulfur, and mercury, Chatelain. So immediately made, they've got the pink rose, pink is, Toulouse is the pink town, it's the pink, it's the Virgin, it's the Pink Panther, it's the English. So this is showing us again, he's called JM, Jupiter Mercury. He was incarceré, so put in prison in the floor of Ida, with pedopornographic. So this is it, the children, the pink, the virgins, pedopornographic. And he went back to his chateau in the Lot's wife. So what's going to happen to this castle? And he's just a big gangster. You know, Prince Charles is the head of the Hell's Angels. It's about getting in touch with what I'm about to read to you. So he's Leo Ferret. So Leo was where Venus and Mars will be for this next full moon. In Leo, going back between the sun and the moon, the crazy years. So he felt above the law. So this is the V for Valentine, Vendetta. This is Sagittarius. This is the rise of the rebels in this gap where they want bloods. They want blood and we're not going to give it to them. So directly above Toulouse, of course. And so I just remembered the Rocky Horror Show. The chateau they came to, Kate and Willie next to me, the Well of the Dragon, is called La Roque. Picnic at Hanging Rock, where I was for the floods, the Lion's Rock, Leo and the Virgin, Virgo, the crazy chateau. So this was, you know, exactly what happens when Brad and Janet get to that, through those gates. So Brad and Janet meet Medulla as they pass through the Boaz jacking pillars, temples in our head, the BJ blowjob for the winds of the Tsars, Windsaws, 4x4 wheel drive ahead. That's the famous line of what we're living now, the atom, the wheels of Ezekiah. R.R. Romulus and Remus, 1818 to make 36 gates of JBBJ. According to the Bible, Boaz were 2 copper, brass or bronze pillars which stood on the porch of Solomon's temple, where we've got this Solomon Venus retrograding coming up. Let's have a look at it. So for the 7... Here's Venus, and then she goes backwards, so right over Solomon, back to Cancer, and then she moves back, and she's going to hit Regulus on 10-9, which is like the Mad Hatter's hat again. He wears that 10-9-6, and again it's that journey from Capricorn 10 back to Sagittarius 9. Wow. So this is what I wanted to read to you. The medulla oblongata is the lowest bud of the brain stem. It encloses the 4th ventricle, a fluid-filled cavity formed by the expansion of the central canal of the spinal cord upon entering the brain, and is continuous with the spinal cord at the opening at the base of the skull. This is the famous canary, the can. Carrying on various complex integrative functions, its nuclei are associated with most of the cranial nerves and fiber tracts, which link it to the higher nerve centers. So this is what you want to know to avoid this big bang. The medulla's mythological personification is found in the phonetic imagination as Medusa, originally a lovely woman, a granddaughter of Gaia, the Earth Mother. She was seduced by Poseidon in a temple of the goddess Athene, a desecration for which Athene changed her into a hideous Gorgon chained in a cave in the underworld. So this is little Virgo. She's met Venus, and Venus is very jealous of her, Athene, and she turns her into a hideous Gorgon. Injuries or disease of the lateral medulla can cause loss of pain and temperature sensations, along with the pons and the thalamus. The medulla also has some influence on our arousal from sleep, as well as regulating vertigo, vomiting, coordination, and relaying the taste sensation of the tongue. Goodness knows what is going to, what has been done with the Vache qui rit, Vax, for people's ability to control their medulla. Medusa's tongue lolls, so that's your lol 007, Lucifer our Lord, you know, the tongue sticking out of the fertility god, the keeper of the four corners, much like that of the Indian goddess Kali, Cancer, where Mars and Venus is now, as well as other images found on roads. In old Europe, this Gorgon's image began to appear in the Upper Paleolithic and continued for thousands of years before her entrance into Greek mythology. A master of animals, primarily of birds and snakes, her owl-like eyes and snaky coiffure, her posture was that of feminine empowerment, and we had the death of Tina Turner. Where the transition from the medulla to the spinal cord takes place, there are two major crossings of nerve fibers. Thus, injury or disease affecting one side of the medulla produces symptoms at the opposite side of the body. So vital is this essential organ. This marrow, that any injury to it can result in paralysis or death. Briefly, in the Greek myth, a young would-be hero named Perseus sets out to get the Gorgon's head, as anyone who gazed on Medusa was turned to stone. This task seemed impossible, but Athene showed Perseus how to use his shield as a mirror, and so murder Medusa without directly looking at her. She also gave him a helmet that made him invisible, a sickle for the deed, winged sandals for a fast getaway, and a magic wallet in which to safely carry the still powerful severed head. So there's BJ. Always show you a gap, exactly like Rowan Atkinson, exactly like in that film that I've showed you a lot, Life is Beautiful, that Italian film about being in a concentration camp, that lovely Italian film, La Vie, La Bella Vie, or whatever. And when there's that famous scene when he translates what the Nazi's saying in a funny way to protect his son, you have the door just like that, the gap, just like we saw with Rowan Atkinson. So again, the Solomon's Temple, the eye, you know all these pictures, boom, boom, and that's more on the medulla, so it's all in the article, you can go and see. And that again is showing you the chateau that I've just showed you, so it's here. This is this passage, 77721, you need the 3 phases of the moon goddess to find the 28 phases. Those 7-7 is the same as the Grand Cross, 90-degree angles. You really have an opportunity to use this energy now. I haven't looked at I should go and open I'll save that for my next video. My next video, we can look at the full moon coming. We've got enough to cover now. And the gap, and we've just seen that, and this is, you're getting it now. Those got the 3 phases of the moon to make the whole, red, yellow, black, white, the high priestess that will bring you through to this fixed cross, seat of the soul, and that the Mary Magdalene is the amygdala, this passage, the bird, the hippocampus, double L, this is the time of Mart and Atum. You are the portal, the number 13, the world, the knowing. So you've just seen all this. He's blocking the passage of the voice, the Venus flytrap, Nelson's colon, the cherry, the fly, the ice cream, between the 2 women, again, like we just saw Macron, Rose and Kate, the 2 sides of Venus, Venus retrograde. This will be the closing of her petal, the closing of her petal, and that is this moment between the mutable cross and Leo that blocks the center. the Lion, and that is what we've got. We've got the white water, we've got Venus going retrograde from Leo back to Cancer, the ruler of Taurus, bringing up the Lion. The Cape, Saint Martin, St. George, St. Patrick, gets rid of the snakes, kills the fertility, the Milky Way snake. And that was what I wrote in my last week's newsletter. And that's what we've just covered, so that's great. And then, yeah, this is about the religions in Romania. Yeah, we haven't even got to Kate and Willie. So, yeah, and I also show here Mo's cow. The moon milk is exalted in Taurus Diana, the mother. Mo's cow is now killed, the motherland. Full moon, pregnant moon goddess. T.T. Turner, yeah. You can see that, but this reminds me, as a child, I used to always eat in Greek restaurants in Bayswater with my mother. We would go all the time to this very old Greek restaurant with the woman in black, the mother, and Andreas, who run the restaurant. And it was opposite Moscow Road, where you've got the Orthodox Russian church. And that was an interesting article you can go and read, with all the places in London. Northwest, west, west, bringing Moscow to the west. And then they had a big article. They were literally, the mother disappeared, exactly like the mother's gone, like in Bambi, and they're killing off all the cows. Death of the cow. Death of Taurus bringing up the stag. And there she is, the Mona moon made masculine. And this is this big Orthodox church on Moscow Road in Bayswater. It's inside. And you know, this is all about stopping the passage through the four corners. She's in the four corners, the frame. The Magdalene, the medulla, the passage. Got to get past your fear. Matador. And that we've seen. And then I think Jordan's in here as well. I think Jordan, did I add the Cobra Gypsies? It's just the head. Remember I showed you that, the Cobra Gypsies. This is the Bohemian Rhapsody. And there the cobra is the same at the back of the brain. It's that medulla. Okay. Voila. Cobra pose. There she is. There's the canary. That's a beautiful documentary. I've covered it many times. The crane, the adder, the canary, the Canada. Find your five-pointed star. This is in Bosnia, the North-South Node, birthing a new baby. The black stallion, and he's even got on the back, he's got the South Node. And that's... So yeah, then we've got more Bohemian Rhapsody. Will and Kate attend royal after party in Jordan. So kings and queens, and so it's going to be very fast now. Gypsy kings and queens in Romania for the full moon in Scorpio on Antares, and Willie and Kate are in the Nile line, Jordan. This is the Midnight Express. It's just the line, the Nile, it's the spine, meaning Downing. So Jordan means Downing Street, Portobello, south. The Queen was taken south from Bow, Moor, Al. Scorpio should become the MC. She's being made the IC, and Taurus is being made the MC as Taurus hits the fixed cross first. Yeah, in Lars's video he explains this. Europe is the scorpion to be treaded on, Midnight Express, the spine, spin, the orb and spect. So the name Jordan comes from the Hebrew word yarden, meaning to go down, and refers to the river Jordan flooding towards the Dead Sea. A beautiful title with a rich story. Baby Jordan will undoubtedly wear their name with pride and confidence as they flow through life. So here they are. Sacred secretion, Christ within, showing us again, picture from Santos. And this may have been another occasion, this picture from Saudi Arabia, it may have been the same, so check this out. Tea cozies. I mean, you know, they really are telling us. We've got the three kings there, all on the day of this full moon on Scorpio. And this picture you know very well. Right now we are seeing the young female Mary Magdalene being turned into the whore of Babylon and into a nobody genderless entity. Pedophilia a drawing to be legalized just for the purpose of power and fun. They will create the false androgynous mankind as an without, barren, genderless entity. When the mature and old male or female holds a child in its hands, it works in two ways. The grand ones of the child are the ones to be allowed to do it and not a stranger. Okay, so this is just showing you they're merging. So we've got their Sagittarius yellow, Capricorn black, Libra going off with Virgo, same story as Adam on Eve. Cancer with Gemini, High Cardinal, the mother with the child, and Aries with the Little Mermaid. So again, it's that same, showing us this gap between Sagittarius and Scorpio and Gemini and Taurus. So they were showing us this house of the king in Beacons, BB, Catch 22, the Fleur de Lis, selling his house in Wales. As we're moving on now, the Prince of Wales is over, and this was in 1946, the crowning of the Queen introduced into the Welsh circle, the Circle of Bards, and it's, you know, very much where we're going to now. It's the Bohemian, it's the New Age dawn. JB Pillars, Lord of the Rings. Okay, you know, and that is that famous picture of the box being closed that I was at. That was also a picture from there. He's got the LG, the Gruffalo, the Lord of the Wild Ones with his ET phone home. He's holding the fertility and the moon, the fertility gods. Okay. And one last thing that I've actually added in one of the other articles. So this was just the connection. I'm not even going to read it because I would have put it all in, but it's about the name Barry, and it's about barium. So I'm just going to show you those pictures. Barium, Barry, 56. That was the coronation of the king. Up 5, 6, something happened. What happened? Okay. BA 56. Got that 5, 5. I think I've shown you. John de Barry, this is the father of Jane Birkin, and he did all the music for James Bond. So Barber, barium, and this is what's used for the coating in cancer. I mean, it's cancer Cali. John Barry, the pillars. And we know barium is in chemtrails, James Bond, John Barry, and Jane Birkin, his daughter, JB, and now Jean de Barry with all this lunar energy. Okay, so let's finish just looking again at today, this 6-7. We've got the dam broken. We've got that dam, the dam, and this is all happening right now as Mars and Venus are in Cancer and on this big cardinal cross. So we're just catching up, and I will be back soon. We'll see what happens. But you know, it really is the big gap. The most important thing about this video is that Pluto is returning back to Sagittarius until 2024, and this period of time. And so to keep your head cool, I think we're all spread out in the right places to help this event to be as smooth as possible. And I think if we look 7-7, it's really this time period now from 7-7. Mercury will then be in Gemini, Mars here, so on for that full moon they'll both be conjunct. And then Jupiter going to be going retrogrades? Is Jupiter going to be going retrogrades? He's looking. Yeah, he's stationary. He'll be going, yeah, well, we're not there yet. We'll get to that little by little. So don't forget to subscribe on my site to join my newsletter. And you can go and have a look on my site at the video, and I will be doing more videos, and they won't be as expensive as €39, but I explain why. And you can also book for readings. Everything is flowing along. I'm working a lot more. I'm doing almost 2 readings a day, 4 days a week. So I will be taking a week off in July, and but it's all organized now. You can book, you can see when I'm working, when I'm not working on my site, and just go ahead. If you've already had natals, come back for fun readings. Okay, my darlings, bye for now. Bye.